Welcome back. You've now seen the four elements of Ikigai: what you love, what you're good at, what the world needs, and what you can be rewarded for. And you've explored the common traps that show up when only some of those are present. Today, in this sixth video in the Ikigai course, we're going to do something very practical. We're going to start drawing your first Ikigai map. This is not about magically discovering your ultimate purpose in one sitting. It's about getting your current best guesses out of your head and onto paper so you can see them, work with them, and most importantly, test them in the real world. Think of this as creating a living hypothesis about your Ikigai. It's not a declaration of, this is who I am forever. It's more like, here's what seems true about me and my life right now, and here's what I want to explore. To begin, I'd like you to imagine sitting down with a blank sheet of paper. If you want, you can pause this video later and actually do this as I describe it. On that sheet, you're going to draw 4 overlapping circles, like a simple Venn diagram. One circle is what I love, one is what I'm good at, one is what the world needs, and one is what I can be rewarded for. Don't worry about getting the drawing perfect. The power of this exercise is in the thinking, not the artwork. Let's walk through each circle and talk about the kinds of clues you might put in there, based on your real experiences, not just wishful thinking. We'll start with what I love. This is where you capture activities, situations, and themes that genuinely energize you. Think back to times in your life when you felt deeply engaged, curious, or absorbed in what you were doing. You might not have called it passion at the time. You might have just noticed that time seemed to move differently, or that you forgot to check your phone, or that you ended the day tired but satisfied instead of drained. These moments could be in your paid work, in unpaid roles, in hobbies, or even in childhood memories. Maybe you loved explaining complicated ideas to a friend in a way that made them light up. Maybe you loved organizing chaos into order, designing a workout, fixing something, writing a piece that expressed something true, creating a plan, mentoring someone, or leading a small group. As you remember those moments, look for patterns. Are there certain verbs that keep showing up, like explaining, designing, leading, building, caring for, analyzing, or creating? Those verbs are powerful clues about what you love in terms of how you like to operate in the world. On your map, in the What I Love circle, you might write down these verbs or short phrases like deep one-on-one conversations, building systems, storytelling, teaching with examples, solving puzzles, or creating safe spaces. Don't censor yourself. This isn't a resume. It's a snapshot of what lights you up. Next, let's move to what I'm good at. Here, we're looking at strengths. Some of them might overlap with what you love, and some might not. The question is, where have you consistently shown competence? Where do people come to you for help? What kinds of tasks or problems do others find hard that you handle relatively easily? You can look back over your work history, your personal life, your education, and your hobbies. Maybe you've always been the person who can calm tense situations. Maybe colleagues praise your ability to spot patterns in data. Maybe friends rely on you to plan trips because you think of all the details. Maybe you've gotten feedback again and again that you're a clear communicator, a patient teacher, a strong finisher, or a creative thinker. Also consider the skills you've had to work hard to build. Mastery doesn't always feel natural at first. If you've spent years improving at something and you're now objectively good at it, that belongs in this circle too, even if at first you only did it because your job required it. On your map in the What I'm Good At circle, jot down specific skills like facilitating meetings, copywriting, coaching, teaching beginners, project management, technical analysis, design, negotiating, or empathy. Think of real situations where you've delivered value. Use those as evidence. Now we turn outward to what the world needs. This circle is less about you and more about the problems, frustrations, and desires you see around you that you feel drawn to address. It could be things you notice in your workplace, in your community, or in the broader world. Ask yourself, when I look around, what genuinely bothers me? What problems make me think, someone should do something about this? What situations make me feel a sense of, I wish this could be different, not just for me, but for others? These needs can be big or small. They might be very specific, like small nonprofits struggle to tell their stories effectively, or mid-career professionals don't know how to transition without losing everything. They might be very local, like elderly people in my town feel isolated, or small business owners feel overwhelmed by finances. They might be more abstract, like people crave honest conversation about their fears and hopes. At this stage, you don't have to solve these problems. You're just noticing where your empathy and attention naturally go. On your map, in the What the World Needs circle, you can write down phrases like clear financial education for regular people, support for career transitions, better community spaces, accessible mental health support, real leadership in organizations, or healthier habits in busy professionals. Think about the people you feel drawn to help and the struggles they face. Finally, we have what I can be rewarded for. This circle is about the ways you can realistically receive value, often money, but not always, in exchange for what you offer. It's grounded in actual experience and plausible possibilities. Start by asking, what have I already been paid for? Look at your past and present jobs, freelance work, side gigs, or even one-off projects where someone gave you money or something tangible because you did something for them. This might include things you've almost forgotten because they felt small at the time. Helping someone set up a system, writing a document, running a workshop, designing a logo, tutoring, consulting, delivering a presentation. Then, gently explore where your existing skills might translate into services, products, or roles people already pay for in the world. You don't need to know the exact business model yet. Just notice categories: consulting, coaching, teaching, designing, building, leading, analyzing, creating content, implementing systems, managing projects, and so on. On your map, write down real examples: paid to write X, paid to manage Y, paid for personal training sessions, paid to run workshops, paid to advise on contracts, salary for leading a team, and any other ways you've already seen money flow toward your abilities. When you've made a first pass at each circle, you'll probably notice that some are fuller than others. Maybe you have lots of items under what I'm good at and what I can be rewarded for, but what I love and what the world needs feel sparse. Maybe it's the opposite. That's okay. In fact, that's expected. This is your starting point. Now, here's the important mindset. This map is not a final diagnosis. It's a hypothesis. It's your best collection of clues based on what you currently know about yourself and the world. It will change. You're allowed to be wrong. You're allowed to write something down now and erase or update it later. The power of putting it on paper is that you can get out of vague longing and into something concrete. Instead of thinking, I want a more meaningful life, you can start thinking, it looks like these are the things I love, these are the things I'm good at, these are the needs I care about, and these are the ways I might be rewarded. How do these pieces fit together? Where are the gaps? From here, you can start to look at the overlaps between circles. For example, where does what I love intersect with what I'm good at? That region holds your potential areas of mastery that also feel energizing. Where do what I'm good at and what I can be rewarded for intersect? That region reflects the skills you've already successfully monetized. Where does what I love intersect with what the world needs? That's where your heart naturally points you, areas where your joy could become service. You might even start to see small islands of overlap where 3 or more circles meet. Maybe you notice that you love teaching, you're good at simplifying complex ideas. There's a need for clear guidance in a field you know well, and you've already been paid to do some training. That could be a strong hint. Don't worry if you don't see a neat, perfect center yet. The goal of this first map is not to draw a single bullseye and say, that's it. The goal is to have something that you can now test and refine in the real world. And that brings us to an important principle we'll rely on throughout this course: evidence over ego. It's one thing to imagine that you'd love a certain path. It's another to try a small, safe version of it and see how it actually feels and performs. Many people get stuck because they try to think their way to certainty before they ever take action. Ikigai, as we're using it here, is iterative. You make a guess, you try something small, you see what happens, and you adjust. Your first Ikigai map is the make a guess part. In upcoming lessons, we'll talk more about how to test those guesses through small experiments, things like side projects, conversations, tiny offers, and empathy interviews. For now, I want to encourage you to actually do this exercise for real. Set aside some quiet time. Draw the 4 circles, label them, and then, without overthinking it, start writing down clues in each one based on your experiences and reflections so far. If you get stuck, that's a clue too. For example, if you find it hard to list what you love, it might mean you've been in survival mode for so long that you haven't let yourself pay attention to joy. If you struggle to list what you're good at, it may mean you've been overly modest or dismissive of your own strengths. If what the world needs feels vague, you might need more exposure to different communities and problems. If what I can be rewarded for feels blank, it could be time to look more honestly at your work history and the broader market. Whatever happens on the paper, treat it as compassionately as you'd treat a friend's first draft of something important. You wouldn't expect them to get it perfect. You'd be proud that they started. I'll close this video with a simple perspective shift. Up until now, questions about purpose, calling, or what I'm meant to do might have felt huge and abstract, almost unanswerable. By drawing your Ikigai map, you're turning those giant, intimidating questions into smaller, more practical ones. What do I love? What am I good at? What does the world need that I care about? What can I be rewarded for? And how might these intersect in useful ways? Those are questions you can work with. You can add to your answers, you can test them, you can refine them. Every time you update your map with something you've learned from real life, you're not starting from scratch, you're evolving your hypothesis. In the next videos, we'll start filling these circles with more detail. We'll look specifically at joy and engagement, how to track the moments when you feel most alive and use them as data. We'll also explore how language can sharpen your awareness of what you're really experiencing, so you can update your map with more precision. For today, your job is simple. Draw the map, fill it imperfectly, and let it be a living document. You're not trying to impress anyone. You're building a tool for yourself. Your Ikigai is not a single static destination. It's a relationship between you, your gifts, and the world around you. This first map is your way of saying, I'm willing to be in that relationship consciously. And that's a powerful place to be. I'll see you in the next video, where we start mining your life for moments of joy and engagement, and turn those into even clearer clues on your map.